What's going on? Cheddar Block here. Today I'm bringing you a super easy to manage Mayhem 10 build for Zane. I'm calling it the Assassin One Last Job. So let's just jump right into it, shall we? So if you played Zane's campaign at all, you've learned through his backstory that essentially he's just an intergalactic hitman. And he has an operative head called One Last Job, and I've totally decided to base the entire aesthetic just off of that operative head. And I'm just gonna assume that the operative head is based off pretty much any action movie ever where they gotta pull some ex-specialist out of retirement, give them an offer they can't refuse, and they gotta reluctantly take the last job. But I digress. I mean, pretty much any Steven Seagal movie in the last decade is a pretty darn good example of that. Anyways, back to the build. Okay, so first up is the Mayhem modifiers. I got Loot Explosion, Freeze Tag, Drone Ranger, Dazed and Confused. Probably in my opinion some of the easier ones. Next up is my Guardian rank, showing here that I'm rank 190 and where all my skills are allocated. Here's my perk list for both the Hitman tree and the Doubled Agent tree. If you have any questions about why I'm using some perks and not using some other perks, feel free to comment down below and I'll definitely get back to those. But I felt that this variation of all the perks have worked flawlessly with the build I've chosen. Yes sir, onto the guns. Okay, first up here we have the Hellshock, which is just the bread and butter of this build. I'm rocking consecutive hits on there. For some reason the cryo sentinel damage I've tried it on multiple bosses, somehow the damage just doesn't add up, and with my Mayhem modifiers it's good to have at least one or two weapons not with the cryo sentinel damage. Next up here I have probably my favorite assault rifle in the game, which is the Warlord. Has a 30% chance not to consume ammo, it's got a high magazine size, it's kinetic damage. I also have the Sentinel active, gain 100% as bonus cryo damage, which is, you're just doing double damage, which is really nice. Next here I got the Hyperfocus XZ41 submachine gun from Hyperion. I got corrosive damage on it as well as the bonus cryo damage with the Sentinel it's active. Just a really good weapon to have to melt armor, and that's pretty much all you whip it out for anyways. Okay, last but not least here I got the Narky. I got it with 300% weapon damage against enemies above 90% health. This is really good for clearing mobs. Totally optional, but I mean it's probably one of the funnest guns to use in the game. Just because how difficult it is to use. It takes a while for it to get going, and it just gobbles up ammo, but once you get this thing going, this thing is just an absolute beast. For the class mod comes as no surprise, I'm using the Seeing Dead, just for obvious reasons. I have Hyperion weapon fire rate, action skill cooldown rate, and all weapon critical damage. Those are ones that I like to use personally. You can pretty much use whatever you want, depending on what guns you're using as well, but definitely imperative to the build. For the shield I'm using is the Recharger with the Sentinel active, movement speed is increased anointment. Synergizes with the build very nicely, so this is definitely a must-have. So for the grenade, another optional choice. As long as it has the anointment on grenade thrown, everything's increased by 25% for 6 seconds. It's a really good anointment, works perfect for the build. I'm using the P grenade just because of that 20% damage increase, and it just works really, really nice. And for the artifact, I'm going to be using the Pearl. No surprise there again. Just, it works. Okay, so the proof is in the pudding. I'm going to go ahead and kill a couple of bosses here just to showcase how OP this build really is. I'm going to kill Gigamind and General Trant, and I'm not even going to fire a single bullet. So, let's see how this goes. So the really nice thing about this build and why they call it a lazy build is because in order to proc every single one of your abilities, you only need to do like 3 things, which is you need to constantly strafe while you shoot, constantly do damage, and occasionally switch places with your digiclone, probably every 5 to 10 seconds to get the full potential out of the build. So and that about does it for my Zane One Last Job Assassin build. Hope you liked the video. I'll be putting out some more content here soon. Feel free to question or comment below. I'd love to answer them. And that's about it, man. I appreciate you guys watching. Consider liking and subscribing, all that jazz. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace.